From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Starting again overseas, where a semi-official Iranian news agency has released a video purportedly showing the nuclear site at Isfahan operating as per usual, saying anti-aircraft defenses at the site fired at unspecified targets. We've got more from reporter Tom Rivers.
The video shows the site where everything appears to be normal. Nothing reportedly hit or damaged. Iran is said to have fired air defense batteries as explosions could be heard near a major airbase near Isfahan. Meanwhile, the UN nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, confirms there is no damage to any of Iran's nuclear sites.
Around the time of the incident in Iran, Syria's state-run news agency quoted a military statement saying Israel carried out a missile strike targeting an air defense unit in its south and causing material damage. Marketing experts say that Indigo Books and Music has a lot to do to turn around its business as it moves toward privatization. Joanne McNeish, an associate professor at Toronto Metropolitan University specializing in marketing, says it'll likely take about 5 years for the company to turn itself around. Asked about its strategy moving forward, Indigo said in a statement that it is engaging in meaningful work to transform the business and update its range of products. If Ottawa gets its way, banks will soon be mandated to use a specific name for federal money deposited into the accounts of Canadians. Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault says the banks have, so far, refused to heed the government's wishes to give a specific label to the carbon price rebate. He says since the government is paying the banks for the service, not doing so is unacceptable. Guilbeault says the lack of clear and consistent labeling is contributing to confusion and misinformation when it comes to how carbon pricing works. And finally, south of the border, this coming Saturday marks a somber 25th anniversary for the survivors and the families of the 12 students and 1 teacher killed in the Columbine High School mass shooting in Colorado. Reporter Morgan Norwood has the story.
For the teen survivors, now firmly in adulthood, and teachers, some in the twilight of their careers, it's hard to look back. But back then, it was even harder to look forward.
I had had more funerals than I had had birthdays at that point.
We didn't have any context for a school shooting, couldn't name a school shooting.
It's a big part of my identity and who I am.
Their lives forever intertwined in an act of public violence that has become so notorious, it's taken ownership of a single word: Columbine.
A vigil is set to be held today on the eve of the anniversary of the tragedy. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, that's a wrap on the NHL regular season. Winnipeg earned a 4-2 victory over Vancouver. On the last night of play, Calgary posted a 5-1 decision over San Jose, while Colorado beat Edmonton 5-1. Seattle edged out Minnesota 4-3. Anaheim beat Vegas 4-1. And the Los Angeles Kings topped the Chicago Blackhawks 5-4, that game going to overtime. And of course, that means it's time for the playoffs, with Round 1, Game 1 going for the Islanders and the Hurricanes, and the Maple Leafs and Bruins Saturday night. In the Professional Women's Hockey League, Boston beat Toronto 2-1. Montreal earned a 4-3 victory over Minnesota. And finally, in the MLB, the Toronto Blue Jays had the night off, but the San Francisco Giants beat the Arizona Diamondbacks by a final score of 5-0, opening a 4-game series. Logan Webb retired 19 straight batters for the Giants on his way to 7 smooth innings. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.